We'll just watch through in real time first. So running's a little bit different for you. You're looking to go repeat bouts up and back. Yeah, with quite good speed. Okay, but I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you can be efficient when you run. If you can just be efficient when you run and run for 10 minutes plus or minus without needing to stop, that's going to be a really good sign that you're capable of then adding more force, less force. So I think to start with, it's just about learning to relax when you run, so that your breathing doesn't become like you're tense holding your breath. It's just easy in, easy out. And I guess the feeling when you run is it's really important to be comfortable with a little bit of an elevated breathing rate or an elevated heart rate, and knowing that it's okay, and you're trusting that your body's able to respond to that, rather than having the heartbeat start to pump a little bit and all of a sudden thinking that you're under pressure, everything goes into fast forward, and you're like, oh, get me out, escape the situation. And often the result from that point is that everyone thinks they need to go more effort in that moment because they don't have enough energy, and that's when the sabotage comes, that you go more effort when you're on the limit rather than more relaxation, more control when you're on the limit, okay? And then that allows you to operate sort of in that comfortably uncomfortable zone for a little bit longer, and then it gives you the chance to start to get the amount of running in that's really going to help you. So I think for you, a lot of easy running at the start, where you're not even run at the pace that you're not even noticing the elevated breathing, even if it's almost slower than walking pace. It'll give you the chance to practice getting the rhythm and routine right, and then as you're ready, that rhythm's going to translate into more speed. Okay, so we'll just play through. Okay, so just come back here, have a look. So just if we have a look at your arm carriage, it's quite nice and neat. It's consistent, stride after stride. It just looks to me that you're holding a bit of tension through your arms. So it's like you're trying to force it, rather than have that sort of tension through your body where it's happening, it's there, but it's underneath the surface. And I think that's a really important thought when you run. Is you want to, the feeling is almost red on the inside, green on the outside, where there's so much good tension through your body on the inside that you're working so hard to keep the posture up, keep the midsection switched on. But to any onlooker or anyone watching, it's impossible to see that effort's going on inside, because you look so relaxed. And if we go back to the video that we saw of those 1500 metre runners, they all look like that. Yeah, and it's fake it till you make it, I guess. Yeah. So you have to look like,
that's the blend.
Yeah, look like you're ice under pressure. All right. Okay, so just in these few steps, I think again, it's a little bit like there's a start-finish point. So it's like you're just trying to force your way through to the next stride. Once you're there, then you worry about the next one, rather than feeling like we can just turn the dial back a little bit and just have the tension in your body and the balance of your weight just pressing you forward. Okay. We can also see here. Yeah, that foot recovers around the outside a little bit, which would indicate, I think you've probably got the opportunity to work on just some calf strength and just some basic conditioning, so your body's ready to just handle, repeat. It's basically like doing calf raises over and over again. So the control and the balance that you've got from your calf raises is really important. And the more of them you do, the more comfortable you're going to be on the run, okay? We'll just bring it back through to coming back.
Yes, right.
Okay, so if we just have a look at this section here, when you're up nice and tall, it looks really good. But then as you land, I think there's just a little bit of a disconnect where you're allowing that to shut off. Okay, so I think again, just scaling it back a little bit initially is just going to allow you to keep that tension there constantly. And I guess the feeling that you want when you run is that, just imagine that I'd pop out of anywhere when you're running along, and if I was to knock you in the stomach here, you wouldn't fold over my arm would just bounce off. And so I guess, like right now, I'm able to hold tension in my stomach as tight as I can possibly hold. I can't squeeze my stomach anymore, but I can still talk and I can still breathe. So that's a little bit of the sort of underlying stuff that you want happening when you run. So getting used to holding that tension the whole time. And it's not tension, so it's 100% all the time, but it's just the equivalent to how fast you're trying to go. So if you're asking the ground for 80% return, then you're trying to control this to 80%. And then I guess in the beep test, as you're going through levels 1 to 5, it's like you can just view it as, I'm just rolling through, I'm only asking this for a little bit because I know I'm going to ask it for more when I go along. And then come those final few rounds, you're going, all right, I'm asking you for 8 or 9 out of 10, and I'm going to hold that for 2 or 3 minutes. And then the end game is you can hold that for an hour. Yep. All right.